Hello, crafty friends. This is the Paper Chef here. Welcome to part 1 of my Cheerful Basket series. In this series, we're going to be creating cards and 3D items featuring the Cheerful Basket bundle by Stampin' Up. Today, we're going to be creating a Get Well card, which I'll show you. I'm also going to show you where you can find this in the catalog and tell you what series I just finished with, so you get to kind of see what we did in that series. Now, in this series, we're going to be doing a lot of blending. So you will need the Cheerful Basket bundle and some blends that will go with this. These will work really well with reds and pinks, these hearts, and the apples, reds and greens, and then lots of different colors for the bucket of crafty goodness. And then for the kitty, maybe some crumb cake or some different gray granite or smoky slate, something like that. So you can use watercolor pencils or markers, but I'm recommending alcohol blends. And I'll be using different techniques throughout. So here's in the catalog. This is now, by the way, the annual catalog. I decided that at this time of month, or this time of year, I should say. Let me move my light a little bit. At this time of year, I thought it would be good because we just did a whole series in October with Christmas cards and things. I thought it would be good to start working on all occasion cards, and that's what this is about. So this bundle, although it's on low inventory, last I checked, as of yesterday, it was low inventory, it will come back because it's going to be in this catalog. So the stamp set's not in low inventory, but the dies, I think, is what makes the bundle on low inventory. And this is on page 35 of the annual catalog. I'm going to be using the mini machine to cut these, and I'm waiting on another larger machine, which I'll probably unbox when I get it. So we're going to be using this right here, the mini cut and emboss machine. All right, now, and I use some, I'm going to be using Wink of Stella on these, but I accidentally used white Wink of Stella, which I linked in the description because we don't sell that at Stampin' Up. So what happened is I was trying to use my clear Wink of Stella that we sell at Stampin' Up, but I accidentally used my white Wink of Stella. That's why the hearts are lighter than they're supposed to be, but I'm going to color them the right way with you. So we do sell the regular clear Wink of Stella. We'll put that over the blends. Now, what did I just finish? Let's do that, and then we'll talk about, well, here, the card's already gone for a second. I'll show you that card again in a minute. All right, now, and I'll tell you the papers I'm using. So now we just finished a 5-part series where I created a ridiculous amount of cards and 3D items. I'm just going to give you a little idea of what we created. So in part 5, I shared how to create these little mini easel fold cards with the Jingle, Jingle, Jingle series. We created a couple of these. And I created a tag, so that was part 5. And then this was just another style of card you can make with the Jingle, Jingle, Jingle. A couple Believe cards. This Believe card was just using the Jingle, Jingle, Jingle only, like this. But then this Believe card was using the Snowman Magic. So we also incorporated other things into that series. I don't have anything on the inside of that one. But I usually tried to put Believe in the Magic on the inside of these cards. Then I have different papers, which we're going to be using again today. The Celebrate Everything, and then this one is the Santa Express paper. I shared how to create these double fold treat pouches, tea pouches, just different things I showed. I definitely showed this one in the series, this one here. Let's see, not this one. This one here I shared in the series. All of these I shared in one capacity or another, but some of them I went through the whole thing. We shared how to create a bag, these double fold treat holders, lots of cards. This is just a little sample I grabbed because I couldn't even grab them all. There were so many. I didn't show you how to create this in this series, but we'll be doing a treat like that during this series. All right, now let me move all these out of the way. So if you missed any of that, be sure to check that out. Let's close that, except for the back page. Now, what I want to show you now is that we're using, right now for this series, and you're going to get this in your kit. I haven't done kits in a while, but this time I'm doing a kit. This paper here, we're going to be using throughout this, is going to be in your kit. And you're going to get 12 6-pack sheets, so you get samples of this in your kit. We're also going to be creating in this series a shaker card. You'll be getting some little sequins in your kit, some different embellishments, some different ribbons. My kits are pretty cool. They're different than anyone else's out there. I do it very unique kits. And my mother, who's 90 years old, helps me create the kits. So she's just a wonderful, wonderful crafty person as well. So let's talk about this card. We're going to use the crumb cake blends to color the little bucket. We're going to use these Poppy Parade and Fresh Freesia. I'm sorry, Polished Pink, not Fresh Freesia. Polished Pink to color the hearts. And then we're going to use a little piece of gingham ribbon here like this. That's going to be in your kit. All the things that you're going to need. And then the dies, you have to purchase dies and stamp separately yourself. Please use my link if you're in the US. Use my link to purchase these. The link is in the description right beneath this video. This bundle is based on these dies, the full basket dies and the Cheerful basket. So I'm just getting started with it, so I don't have other samples. Oh, I do have one sample a friend sent me, and that's pretty much it. I'm making these as I go, and this one has a workshop kit. Now, I'm also basing on November 18th, we're doing a bingo. And that is, I used to call it my VIP bingo because I only invited my VIPs, but now you are my VIPs as well. I'm inviting others in the US to join in our bingo. So you can go ahead and look at the description of this video and you will see a link to Stampin' Bingo. And when you sign up for the Stampin' Bingo kit, which is a little different than the Cheerful Basket workshop kit, you're going to be able to get a kit as an add-on. And if you get on my mailing list, you'll get notified as I release this kit. The deadline to sign up for it will be about November 7th or 8th. The bingo's November 7th. I'll try to make the kit sign up by November 8th. Because after that, I'm going to an event called On Stage, and I'm not going to be able to do these kits the rest of the month. So usually I get the kits done before the month starts, but considering I just did an international move, I am definitely getting back on track. So what we're using is this paper here. We're going to use a piece like this, a piece like this, and a piece like this. This is called Celebrate Everything. We're using this crushed curry piece with a crushed curry card base to create this card. We're going to go ahead and cut that right now. We're using a pool party piece. We're using this polished pink and poppy parade piece. Then you're going to see how I chose these colors and how I decided to tie all the different colors together. But the Celebrate Everything paper is a host paper. When you spend $150, you can get this as your reward with your rewards, and it's just amazing. So I'll be using like that for the little basket. We can use that for the little basket that goes around the basket. I mean, the little blanket, not the basket, the little blanket that goes on the basket. The striped one's a lot of fun. So this one is good for New Year's, this fireworks, but we'll be using probably more of like the plain sides in this workshop series. So let's get a placemat and put that down. I've already cut out lots of little hearts. Let's go ahead and trim our paper. So the card is an A2 card. That means that the card is 5 1/4 by 4. And I just did that already because 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, sorry, the A2 card. Now I've already done this. I've already made the card because I had to order more. That's a little bit wonky here. I had to order more crushed curry. This is literally my last piece of crushed curry, but it'll be in your kit, and it's on the way. All the supplies are on the way, so I can't show you a kit right now. Probably in part 2 or 3, I'll show you what the kit looks like. You're going to get full sheets of cardstock, lots of designer series paper, ribbons, embellishments, crafty goodness, lots of crafty goodness. Now we're going to let's look at the card, and we're going to make everything. If the card itself, say, is, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, the first layer is just going to be 4 by 5 1/4, which is 1/4 inch smaller than the other. So let's find the card that I made, and let's look at the first layer. This is the first layer. It's going to be on the outside. So let's put that. It's already the 4 part. Yeah, the 4-inch part's already cut. So now we're going to turn it, and we're going to go ahead and make this 5 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and just attach it to the card, because that way we just get this card built easily, quickly. No big deal. All right, let's see which way. It's opening that way. And let's see how I want this. We'll just do it a little bit different than the other. We'll make the pink stripe at the top. So how do I know these colors coordinate? Well, that's because the Celebrate Everything paper, it tells you which colors are being used in it. So if you're like, wow, they look good together, those colors, that's because one of the great things about our Stampin' Up! Products is they coordinate. We really have a good color coordination. Now then, we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to make this one, instead of having the 1/4 inch margin, we're going to go ahead and make this, we'll make that one like 1 inch shorter than that layer. So if that layer was, let's see how we want the stripes to go. First of all, I want the stripes to go this way. horizontally. So if our first layer was, 5 1/4 by, right? It was 5 1/4. Now we want this one to be 4 3/4 because we're having a little bit of like an extra layer there. So let's see if I can put this on my, I really should have brought a pen along over here. See if I have one. We'll just use my markers. It never fails like that as soon as I start a video that the phone starts ringing, but the phone rings all day. Okay, so let's now, so that one is 4 3/4, so that's good. I'm gonna write that down. Let's go ahead and write that down for you. And we're gonna choose polished pink because I have to write it with something. 4 3/4. So the first one was 5 1/4, right? And that was by 4 inches. So remember, so that one was a 1/4 inch less than the card itself. This is all DSP, by the way. Now this one then has to be a 1/2 inch shorter than this. So we're just gonna go 1/2 inch shorter. Okay. And once you get used to doing this, like it's just second nature. I don't even have to even write this stuff down. I'm writing it down for your behalf, for your benefit, I mean. But I don't really write things down. I just know, oh, I think I'm gonna do that kind of margin. Okay, that's good. I like it. Gonna now adhere that layer. Now, if you really want to save on paper, say you're really limited and like you're like, oh, I really like this paper and she only sent me 12 sheets in my kit. I'm sending you a lot of other papers, by the way, not just this. My plan is to put some of the other host paper, which is year-round host paper in here, so we could do things with it. And it's called Design a Daydream, and you're gonna get some really cool papers in your kit. You're gonna get some very rare papers as well, limited edition papers. We're going to put that here. Now, if you're thinking that you really want to save on this paper, you're like, wow, she's using up. Well, die cut the back. So take the piece, right? Die cut through it, die cut shapes and things out of the middle or punch shapes out of the middle, and then adhere it onto your card because no one can see behind that anyway. So that's a way to save on paper. Now let's go ahead and take the pool party layer and make that yet another 1/2 inch smaller. So we're going to go. So since that was 4 3/4, this is going to be 4 1/4. Okay, so let's see if you can see that part. Okay, 4 1/4 times 3 because we're going 1/2 inch smaller on this layer. It's already 4 1/4. We're going to make this 3. Now don't adhere this one yet because we need to put the little ribbon on it before you adhere it. I like the bubbles pointing up. There's like a little bubbles. We're going to take the gingham ribbon, and we're going to go about, about there. And you see how it's going to go like behind the basket. So you can go ahead and adhere it now. But what I mean is put the ribbon on it before you adhere it. So take an extra piece of ribbon, maybe like a little bit extra on the sides. Cut that. This is called gingham, black and white gingham ribbon. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn this paper over. And the first thing you're going to do is put a little piece of adhesive right there. This is, try to use the Seal Plus. This is some older stuff. It's the fast fuse, but it's a little bit older. So to put a little piece of adhesive there and go like this. So wrap your ribbon, go like this. Wrap your ribbon around the back. Something like that. And then like this. Now you could do the rest of the adhesive you need. Actually, that was even too much ribbon. You don't even need to put that much. But now I put a little bit of adhesive over the top of the ribbon so it doesn't slip. You could, if it's linen thread, I would be tying a knot in the back because linen thread slips right out. But since this is ribbon, I don't want to tie a knot in the back because it'll get too lumpy. Okay, good enough. We're going to put that. Let's make sure we're opening. Yeah, so you want this to be at the bottom like that. So you're going to see how I'm going to tie in. Now we have pool party, we have black, right? So we have black that I'm going to tie in because we're going to be stamping in black. I have pool party, I'm going to be inking up in pool party. We have this color, we're going to be using these two colors for the blends. And then this color is going to the crushed curry. So every color has a complement in this card. It's not just a random. It looks kind of random right now. You're like, oh, what's going on with that card, right? It's because I didn't do the other parts yet that we need to do. So now we're done with the trimmer. And I already have some pieces of basic white. I should have them already cut. Let's see. Here we go. So these are already cut. So what you need is you're going to just take some 3-inch pieces of basic white, and you need your little silicone mat if your table is not flat. So we're going to now do the stamping part. We want to stamp some hearts and some, I'm just going to get rid of this. This is for my picture. All right. I was taking a picture. I like to have contrast when I take photos. So we're going to go ahead and take out your stamps. And we're going to take out the stamp that's the heart and the stamp that's the bucket. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so it's really cool because you can see through it. We'll go ahead and take this out too. This is this one, sending you some get well cheer sentiments. So we'll take that out. We'll go ahead and mount the sending you get well cheer onto stamping block H. Always put the flat side up. And if it looks a little wonky, just lay it back down and make sure use your grid paper to make sure it's straight, because photopolymer stamps tend to bend a little bit. And sometimes you want them to bend. Sometimes you're trying to bend them to like make the sentiment fit around something. Okay, there we go. It's flat. Let's go ahead and take some stamping block Ds. These are the best ones. If you're going to get a stamping block, you're new to stamping, get the stamping block D. It's the most, you're going to use it the most. I have like 3 or 4 of these because I use it the most. Okay, and then you're going to put the hearts flat side up. A little bit of an angle there, stamping block D. So first you want to take your Memento black ink and you want to ink this side and just kind of stamp off onto the little mat there the grid paper, before you try to stamp onto your nice paper. Okay, pretty good. I think it'd be better on the grid paper. We'll try it. Hopefully it works. I'm going to push really hard. So now I'm going to put it on the silicone mat. This is silicone mat's like something that we sell that's really good for working with adhesives, or it's really good for stamping and trying to get a table. Like this table is just like my neighbor's outside picnic table. Ooh, la la, that came out so good. So that's his table. I mean, that's his table, so it's not very flat. So I'm just kind of putting this silicone under it to get very flat. I'm just turning the little strip over and putting one up here. And then leave enough room for your hearts underneath. And leave enough room to tape. So you're going to tape. Ooh, la la, that came out so nice. We're going to put the hearts right here. And you might be wondering, like, you may have seen people do coloring before they die cut, but that's kind of risky in my book when you color before you die cut. Because if your die cut slips, especially with this little mini machine, you don't want to have like wasted all your time coloring and then your die cut didn't come out. So what I do is I die cut, and if the pieces come out, I color them. If they don't come out, who cares? You wasted like 2 inches of paper. Ooh la la, the hearts came out nice too. Gotta love when this happens. This is complete opposite of yesterday's video, which, was kind of discombobulated, but this one's going really smooth, in my opinion, because my stamps are coming out nice. And then you're going to just stamp the sentiment on a little piece of scrap, which we'll do later. I mean, I probably already have one done, but we can do it for the effect. Okay, so let's go ahead and take those and move them off to the side, and let's do our die cutting. Okay, let me go ahead and put this tripod up a little bit so you can get a better view of the whole machine. And I know it does get a little bit wonky, but we will do our best. So this machine is the mini. I'm going to open it. I'm going to go ahead and flip it around so I can crank it through with this hand. For the mini, it's an easy sandwich. It's just one, base plate 1, and then a number 2. I used the scratch one, and then a number 3, another number 2 for the top. So on the number 2, you're going to go ahead and put your paper there, and you're going to use some tape. Now, I like to use what's called wall-safe tape. And it's a little, but I'm just going to use regular tape for now, but I like to use like Post-it notes or wall-safe tape. And because I have to use the regular tape, because the other one, I broke the little tape dispenser, I'm just going to go ahead and use this on my shirt to put in a little lint on it from my shirt. So here's my shirt. My sister made me this shirt. My sister's a seamstress too. My mom's a seamstress and my sister. See what I'm doing? I'm putting this tape on my shirt. So I'm turning it into like that wall safe tape. I'm turning regular tape into wall safe tape. So, or Post-it note tape is what I'm turning it into. In other words, so it doesn't rip. Okay, we don't want it to rip your paper. Okay, now I'm looking for the dies. We'll get those. Okay, we're going to go ahead and tape the die, the little heart die, to the little bucket so that it doesn't slip when it goes through the machine. Okay, so I love this little bucket, little basket. Let's see, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and, yes, I just used my teeth. Let's put that like there. I'm doing both sides for good measure. Because the smaller this little mini machine, my dies tend to like twist more going through them because it doesn't have as big of a platform as the bigger die cut machine. But like I said, I got another one coming, and which is good. Okay, I'm just cranking it through. And there's our little bucket, and there's our hearts. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's use this again. So they're already attached to each other. So we're just going to flip that around. And we'll have to move them a little bit because, these, if I'd used the Stamparatus, I could have had these two dies attached to each other and gone through quickly, but I didn't. Let's just go ahead and, sometimes stamping with the Stamparatus is great for aligning things. But I try to just when I do my workshops, I try to use tools you already have. And everybody already has stamps and blocks. All right, so I see a lot of you are saying hello. And I'm going to say hello to you in a minute after I die cut, but before I start coloring. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the little heart die, I think I have enough extra little hearts. But all I did for the little heart die, it's 4 little hearts already attached on the die. So cool. I'm just using another piece of the Celebrate Everything paper. Right? And I'm just putting it through the little heart die, right? And I'm just putting my extra hearts there. So I don't need to do that with you, but that's what I did. I used the little heart die with the 4 little hearts, and I just cut out a bunch of these with a piece of that. So we have everything we need. And now we're going to color. And I already cut one of these out earlier. So let's go ahead and we're going to color on the grid paper like this. Okay, I'm looking for my buckets. Okay, good. We'll use this too for the inking up. Now go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and lower this. So I can, if I lower it, then I can see your comments. Kind of can't see your comments when it's like above my head. All righty. Lynn, hello. Lynn is saying she's happy to catch me live. Hello, Barbara. I'm using Poppy Prayed Light and Dark. Okay, I'm using Polished Pink Light and Dark. We'll find the other one. Here it is. And I'm using Crumb Cake Light and Dark. Okay, Sandra from Vegas, hello. Hello, Linda from Florida. Hilda, Janet. Wait, let's start with this. I'm just going to go and put it on this mat. So I'm going to take the Poppy Prayed Dark. I'm just going to go around the tops of these hearts. Just kind of every other heart. You can just make some of them Poppy Prayed and some of them Polished Pink. It really doesn't matter which ones you make which. And you could do them all in Poppy Prayed or Real Red. Real Red would look really nice in here. Those two will be the same. This one will do the opposite. We'll just do this one in Poppy Prayed. These must be new markers because they're squeaking. You can refill these, but I'm not a fan of doing that, so I just get new ones. But then, you know, I have other uses for my older ones. I kind of use them to do, I kind of turn them into like blender pens. Okay, that one's our extra in case we mess these up. I think we're doing okay though. Now we're going to take the light. So did you notice that there was a thin side for the markers? And there's a thick side. That's a brush tip. Go ahead and color down a little bit lower because, oops, that one is just going to be. So there's the brush side, and I'm using the brush side to sort of color over the top of these. And yes, I'm kind of doing a sloppy job. This is something I normally do, like say when I'm like watching TV, binge watching Netflix series. Then I get out, I do a bunch of my crafty goodness. I cut out a bunch of things I need, and then I just do my coloring later. Now these colors are going to blend together better over time. They look better as they sit. But if you want to pull that color in, if you think that's too dark on the tops of the hearts, like I just pull it in with take your light and go over the dark parts again, and it'll blend. But the longer they sit, they will go through it'll go through the paper, see? And it'll sort of ooze through the paper, and it'll sort of spread out the ink, and it looks better over time. Then you can use like a color lifter if you really color outside the lines. Okay, let's do the polished pink on the others. We're just going to go ahead and do the reason I don't do the polished pink at first is because, like, do one color first, the light and dark, because it dries quickly. And what's going to happen is if you're trying to blend and you get distracted and you leave the dark part sitting there, it's going to be very hard to blend the colors. You got to blend them while they're wet. Blend them together. And then the juicier your blends, the quicker you better get in there. And I'm liking how this one's coming out, the one on the right side. So I think I'm going to go with the one on the right. And if the colors start oozing into each other, like this one, it's okay. You just start, just if you want them to blend into each other, just sort of go over the outsides a little bit. All right, I'm happy with this. So we have what's called a color lifter. And the color lifter gets rid of the extra colors when you color outside the lines. All right, good enough. We have one. And now let's go ahead and do the basket. Now the basket I didn't blend in like a fancy way for the basket. I just simply took the dark and light. That's all I did. I went for, I have to look at the card now to see which one I did which. It's just kind of the way I felt about it at the time. Okay, good. I used dark and then light. So just take the dark and I just colored in the whole section. This is crumb cake. Because the reason I did that is because there's already texture on your bucket with all the lines and everything. Oh, and the dye. Talk about texture. The dye is so cool. You can make like the bucket on the dye is like wood grain. So cool. So in your kit, I'm giving you little scraps of different, little like crumb cake. So you can cut out the wooden bucket with the dyes. That's when you don't stamp it. That's when you just die cut it. So we have different options for making our little baskets. I keep calling them buckets, but because this one looks like a wash bucket to me. But they are really baskets because the whole thing's called Cheerful Basket. So I really should be calling it a basket. And now I'm taking the light crumb cake and I'm taking the big brush side, and then you can quickly color this. Boom, and you're done. It's so easy, right? Wasn't that easy and quick? And I mean, if you don't color your stamped images, you're missing out on a whole dimension of stamping. I mean, if you just keep them black and white, you're not taking your stamping to the next level. You need to color them. I'm looking for the glue, which I just had sitting here. Here it is. Here's the glue. So what you want to do now is glue. Just do a little line of glue like this on the bottom of the hearts. And then you're going to put the bucket over that. Like so. Okay, so that's why I said color down little bit extra just so you make sure that they're, okay? And now flip it over real quick because otherwise it'll stick. And then you can get that excess glue off. So that's what's happening there, and that's what's great about these mats. You can work with glue, and you can see the colors oozing through, and they're just gonna even look better over time. So we have another, put that bucket over there. Now you want to take some Stampin' dimensionals and put them behind your bucket. Okay, and we're also going to we need to stamp our sentiment as well. So let's do those couple things. All right, I have a little bit of glue on my fingers. I'm just trying to get the glue off my fingers. So put that there. Okay, I'm just taking, I don't know, I'm going to be really generous with these dimensionals. You will get some dimensionals in your kit as well. I include adhesives, embellishments, ribbons, cardstock, DSP, a little bit of a window sheet, sequins. I mean, you get lots of things in your kit. The kit does not include the actual stamps. I used to try to do that, but it was just too much to try to do inventory. And then I want you to get those on your own because you get those faster if you just order them yourself, and then the kit will come later and you can use whatever supplies you want. And those of you following along from anywhere in the world can use whichever supplies you want, because only the U.S., those of you in the U.S. can get my kit. So what I did is I put dimensionals on there, pop that up, and we're going to stick that there. Boom. Okay, and now I put cheer above it, so I'll probably put the sending cheer below it this time, just for a little bit difference of effect. Okay, let's see. So this is 3 inches already. 3 inches wide. So let's go ahead and make a few of these pieces. So let's say 3 inches wide by 1 centimeter. That was about, see how the centimeters is on there? On your trimmer. Get that out of the way so we can see the centimeters. I like to do a bunch of these. Not only so I can have a easily get well card, but in case we mess up, we have a bunch of extra little strips. So let's go ahead and put those there. We're going to go ahead and stamp the silicone mat. Okay, we're going to go ahead and first stamp over there to get the ink off of this. Okay, especially when you first get new stamps, you have to stamp off onto some paper because there's not good ink absorption on the acetate, or on the photopolymer, I should say, when you first get it out. Okay, good. Now, I just wanted to show you that, but what I'd rather you do, which is what I do, is I do the edges I'm going to do the edges first, because if not, I smear the last 2 letters. Okay. Just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to flip that over and just show you what I mean. So thank you. I'm glad you like. So she's saying she likes the pink and poppy prayed together. That's because polished pink, and that was Sandra. Hello, Sandra. And Kathy Schmidt. Hello. And Marie from New Jersey. She was saying she likes these colors together. They go well together, the poppy prayed with the polished pink, because they're both brights and they're both like coordinating colors, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the pool party ink, and what I want to do is ink around the edges of these little strips before we put the get well on them, because then it doesn't smear. So I'm just flipping over this one because I'd already stamped on it. So what you want to do is take a little stamping block, any little stamping block, it doesn't really matter. Let's take this one, and you put some ink on it from your pool party, right? That way you know how much ink, you're controlling how much ink. If you just dip the blending brush right into the ink, you don't really have any control how much ink is on your blending brush. But when you put the ink on yourself from the stamping block, you sort of know how much ink you're putting on it. So what I want to do is I want to go around the edges. This is tying in the pool party, because I like to, when I use different colors in my cards, I do it intentionally so that I can then tie back the different colors. Well, the pool party, the only way to really tie this color back into the card was to ink around the edges of the white, or to use pool party, say, on the inside of the card. So that is how to add dimension. Just one more way to add dimension to this. And by the way, I'm just tapping off onto the mat, to the grid paper. just to get rid of any big blobs of pool party ink. Okay, that's good. I already have spammers, so please report the spammers. It doesn't matter if I say only those subscribed can comment. The spammers still figure out how to get through. You know what? They're the same people trying to telemarket me right now. They're like, wait a minute, she didn't answer her phone. Let's go to her YouTube channel and spam her there. Okay, or let's actually flip this over. Anyway, I don't take it personal. I don't even know who these people are. All right, let's try. It's probably bots. It's not even real people. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and write that little note here with this. We'll write it with this Poppy Prayed. We're going to say that was, let's see, 3 inches. And I know I shouldn't mix units, but it just seemed to work out really well. 3 inches times 1 centimeter worked out really well for the sentiment. Oh, I need to keep that open. So we're going to go ahead and keep that open, and I'm going to just go ahead and... Sometime when you have a long stamp, it's easier to stamp upside down. To ink it upside down. Okay, I'm just kind of holding it there for a second or rocking it a little to get a good image. Ooh la la, that came out nice. So just cut out your little strips. Do your inking with the pool party. If you want to ink it with the pool party later, that will work, but make sure your sentiment is dry first. Because otherwise, when you start using the blending brush, you start smearing your Memento black ink with your brush. And then the end colors just get a little smeared. And I'm like, darn, I did it again. Now, for this one, I didn't use dimensionals to put this up. I just used like regular... I just used this because what I did is I was putting this right on the bucket. Basket. I got to keep remembering to say basket. So what I'm saying is this part, I put the adhesive right on this part, like right behind it so that it sticks right on there. And I just wanted the ribbon to show through, so that's why I put it like that. I'm going to turn that upside down. Oh, that was the one that we did earlier. Yep, it's on both sides. So I just want a little bit of adhesive in the middle. Hello, Mary. Nice to see you again. And Lynn, thank you for reporting that. If enough of you report the spammers, then in real time, they'll get blocked. Put that right there. I'm just trying to center it. I don't want to cover up like both. I like the little texture of the basket showing, so I'm gonna kind of put it over the ribbon slightly, only because I'm deciding that looks better. Do you see what I mean? Like I don't want to block like the little lines at the bottom of the basket. If I'm going to block a part, I want to block a little bit of the top of the basket. But I also want this to not cover the ribbon because I think the ribbon looks cute behind there. I'm just adding lots of texture. So let me, once again, before I do the Winkostella and talk about the different kinds of Winkostella. Now, once again, I'm tying in the colors purposefully. So what we have here is we have the polished pink and Poppy Prayed as part of this paper back here. And I wanted these horizontal lines back there. Now that ties into polished pink, Poppy Prayed. Okay, so those two are tied in. Now we have crushed curry. I wanted the lines to go horizontally. Now this ties in, the crushed curry ties into the color of the card base. Okay, so there's 2 colors tie in. Black from the gingham ribbon, black and white gingham ribbon, ties into the color of the ink behind the hearts and the bucket. A basket, sorry. I'm just gonna look at the stamp set so I can keep remembering to say basket. Okay, pool party for this paper here ties into us putting pool party on the edges of this with the ink. And if we didn't tie it in that way, another way to tie it in would have been to use the pool party sheer ribbon, which is in your kit. I'm including pool party sheer ribbon to put behind there. Okay, so now that's how I tied in the colors. And then the inside, I'm just gonna put white, basic white, and maybe, your message. And you always need sympathy cards and get well cards on hand, etc. Okay, now let's show you this little trick with the glue and this little guy. So this take your pick tool has a putty end. My putty has seen better days. But what you do is you take the putty end and you turn it over like that. And then you can then put your little drop of glue on your hearts, right? And then you can kind of plunk them down where you want to put them. So let's go ahead and put one there. See? Pretty cool, right? So I like using the putty end when I have tiny little things like this, the hearts and sequins and things. Let's put one over there. I put one there. And then we'll put one at the top. Let's see, putty. You can get refillable for your take your pick tool. You can get more putty. Oops. You can actually get like extra putty refills. I don't want that to be on this part, like the pool party. I mean, the poppy parade part. I want it to be in this part because that part, right, is not touching that part. So you have contrast. So always think about contrast on your cards when you put the different colors together. So I wouldn't want this to push over and overlap into that section because then it wouldn't contrast. Okay, push down with the little spatula. Okay, now we're ready for our Wink of Stella. Wink of Stella will also help you because it's actually almost like a little bit of a glue. Now, again, the Stampin' Up sells. We sell the clear one. Okay, so this is the clear one. Very reasonable price. Stampin' Up demonstrators get 20 to 25% off. I'm up to 25% off. Okay, and so that's what's really cool. But it almost looks exactly like the white one. And you might like this look of my original one, and I'm going to show you that for contrast in a minute. When I accidentally used my white Wink of Stella, these hearts came out much later. Definitely use some Wink of Stella, either clear or white. And you can even make your own white by dipping this into the craft ink, this craft white ink. So yeah, I was at Hobby Lobby. I had a weak moment, and they had white Wink of Stella, gold Wink of Stella, red Wink of Stella. They had all these colors in there, and I was like, oh, because I love glitter pens. And so I just started getting all the different colors. And like I said, it's almost in the same exact container, so that's what I did. But I did link to it in the description. If you like this white one, I linked to it so you can get it on Amazon. Now, let me show you now with the one that I started over here. All right, let's show you. When you accidentally don't use the clear one and use the white one. Okay, now nothing's coming out. Okay? And so you can't even tell why you're coloring. You're like, oh, okay. Looks clear to me. Right? Looks perfectly clear to me. And then in a minute, it's just going to turn white. And you're like, oh, what happened? And then I didn't want to make a whole entire new card for my sample. I was like, I'll just explain to my audience what happened. You'll see it'll turn white in a moment in contrast with next to that. All right, so did we do those? We did. We did those. So the inside piece is going to be, I just want to write a couple more measurements and then I'm done. This piece, okay, for the card itself, so the card is going to be, it's just an A2 card. So you can look up A2 all the time. It's standard measurements, 5.5 times 4 1/4. Okay, that's the card itself. Now the inside layer, right, is going to be here and inside. So when you want to make this little inside piece of basic white, you're just going to get a piece of basic white and put that in the inside of your card. And it'll be, I think did I just do it again? Those are looking like they're turning white. No, I didn't do it again. But okay, there you go. There's the difference. Okay, so see the difference in the white and using clear. Either way, you can get them to be glittery, and you could see what happened here. So you could see what happened with the white. So it just, and then if it does happen, if you do end up with a lot of these, just, you know, it's white, it says white, but if you do end up, and you like the white hearts, that's great. If you want to make your own Wink of Stella that's white, just dip it into the craft white ink, and that still looks cute. But if you want, and they do end up, see, I want to show you that shine. You got to definitely use some Wink of Stella on your hearts. But if you do end up getting them to be like really white, just add another layer of, just go back and add some clear over it, and it'll still shine. And then you can always go back and take your, like this is what I did. I went back and took some of my colors here. And while they're wet, I just kind of went like that. And I sort of took this is my clear one. See, I have to keep, I'm getting myself confused. There we go. And I just kind of pushed the ink around. Made them a little shinier. But I definitely didn't mean to do that. There you go. So this is what I meant to do, and here we go. I hope you like this card. And I figured we are going to, in this, I'm just going to go over this one more time. In this series, as I wrap up, I don't have any more projects to show you except for the one that my friend Kathy, who's on here, she sent one made with this Cheerful basket. And I'm going to have a lot more because Linda, one of my team members, is helping me with bingo. So I'm going to have her sample. And let's just see. Here we go. Pretty cool, right? So she colored the apples and made an extra layer of early espressos this basic way in crumb cake. And then we have the early espresso around, I think it's, yeah, early espresso. That's the very dark brown color. Okay, very pretty on a crumb cake background. So you can make a basket of beautiful apples. So we'll be doing something like that. And I thought it would be fun in this series to make some cat treats for the holidays, right? And I thought it'd be fun to make some tea holders with some apple tea that's going to be in your kit, a little apple tea I found. Let's see what else I thought would be fun. Oh, the humbug containers. And I made one here, but I'm going to show you the way that Kay sent me some using her measurements. So she has ones that open up. Kay is one of my team members, and she has ones that open up and like you can reuse them. So I thought that'd be fun to do little inspirational things for that. And so, and also some more cards. So that's, and then in the bingo, when we play bingo on November 18th, we won't be doing much die cutting. It'll be done for you, like the baskets that you need will be done for you, the die cut part. You will have to just do some stamping, and it'll be easier for you to get those cards done while we're playing several rounds of bingo, where you can win bundles and surprises, and I mean door prizes. You can win bundles for the bingo, including, this is one of the prizes, Cheerful Basket Bundle. You can, and so is the next bundle coming up in next month. It's called the Warm Welcome Bundle. That's what we're doing in December, and you can win that too. So there's lots of fun things to win. Okay, good, Kathy. Thank you. That'd be cool. She said she's going to sign up for bingo. Thank you, Sandra. So Kathy, she likes your card. Let's see if she put on the back of it. There's Kathy's information on the back. She also has a YouTube channel, Kathy Schmidt. She's another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who I'm actually going to see in Jacksonville very soon when we all attend the on stage together. Now you could see how she used, not sure where the happy birthday came from, but you could see how you don't just need to limit yourself to the stamps that are in this Cheerful basket. I'm going to be doing mostly just these because this is the workshop series we're focused on, but you can, of course, use any sentiment you want and use the designs that we share. All right, well, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. I appreciate you watching today. Let me get you those measurements, get this out of the way, take a screenshot. That's all you need. That was the sentiment there. That's all for now. See you again real soon.